So, we're here on our last day in Utrecht. We decided that we would try and give a post-Euros analysis. We figured we would do it all together, have a bit of a discussion. So, why don't you tell us how you get on, Terry?
Right, so I guess you guys know I played a sort of Danish orchestra. It went weird, so I was X2 my first 2 rounds. Then we managed to sort of pull it back a bit during the rest of the day. We finished on X3, which was enough to get you through to day 2. Day 2, I think we both ended up X4. Overall, I think I was fairly happy with my deck. I mean, we did another 3v3 on the Sunday. I changed it slightly, so I took out the Radians and the Destrudo. Destrudo I didn't find came up for me that much. The Radiant I did personally like, but it was sort of the thing where it didn't. They weren't always very helpful. I can get rid of them, I can discard them, but they didn't really always were necessary. And that way, I said to make it a 40 card deck, which was probably a bit better, so people didn't blind bully you. Overall, I think it was okay. I finished 268th, I believe.
Yeah.
It's not like amazing, but it's not terrible considering. To be fair, I played a lot of meme decks. It was great. Like I played Cyber Dragons, I played Luna Lights. We played, I think, Trickstar at one point. I mean, we've had some easier matchups, or at least matchups where it's not like non-meta matchups. I didn't actually play a single Salamangreat the entire tournament, which I found quite odd, or an Orcus. I was kind of looking forward to that. I don't think I would really change much. I just felt that I could have played better in certain matchups, or having slightly better knowledge of my deck would have helped. For example, against a Danger Thunder player, I drew both of my Nightmares. We played Orcus Nightmares, and we sort of played through, and we had the play where we had to make a Cerberus to discard to the Orcus Nightmare to continue our plays. We decided to make a Phoenix because we thought, oh, let's go straight to combo. That didn't happen. So we made the Mermaid, didn't discard or anything because we thought we didn't have any targets, but I played the Nightmare Corruptor Italy, so I could have done that. Possibly made some plays from there and continue on with the game. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? Overall, Euros was interesting, and I would think that my deck was great. I always opened the way to combo, or I could play through most of 9 times out of 10 most things bar Lancia, but even then sometimes if you draw right, you draw right. Overall, I think Euros was a good experience, at least just to get some practicing and to further understand my deck.
Alright, so I also played Orcus, but if you've seen, I played a different version. I didn't play any Dangers. I focused more on the Trickstar and Sky Striker engines. I was pretty happy with the deck most of the day. The deck itself, I think, did quite well. I won my first 2 rounds, then I lost to Joshua Schmidt in round 3. He was playing Salamangreats. I found Salamangreat was not too hard of a matchup. I lost Salamangreat once, but I played them 4 or 5 times. I can't remember. So I didn't find that hard a matchup. It was just he was a very good player. It was just a more skillful player. I played against Danger Thunder. I think I won 1, lost 1 against them. Really, it was just down to who won the die roll. The Thunder player that I beat, I think he did actually win the die roll, but I hit every single Danger, so he just couldn't make any plays turn 1. Orcus Mirror was probably the worst matchup for me, because I always lost the die roll in the mirror. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my deck. I ended day 1 X3, got to day 2, finished X4, which put me 236th overall. So I'm quite happy I got top 256. That was my goal. Impermanence on the Mermaid was probably the thing that hit me the most during the weekend. I struggled not playing hand traps. pretty much any deck I've played up till now has played a lot of hand traps. So the 3v3 on the Sunday, I decided to play the build that Alfie Morton helped me with, which played 3 Ash, 3 Impermanence, 3 Veiler. It did come up, but the decks I was playing against, it didn't help that much. I felt I still could have played through anything. I played against Seppa's Necros, if you've seen his list. That was the only time I really bricked in the 3v3. I opened double twins and a fog blade, and he goes second, slaps down Denko, I can't do anything. I didn't win that match, but that's probably the only time throughout the weekend where I bricked. Any other time I was stopped, it was because of hand traps. So I'm pretty happy with the list. I'll still tweak it and refine it. I'll try and focus more on the Sky Striker engine because the Eagle Booster for the Mermaid is really key. Yeah, pretty happy overall. You, Alex?
Well, so I played Striker for the event. I played too many traps. I was main decking Summon Limit in Necking and B1, and I bricked far too much, opening too many traps and not being able to do anything. And I ended the first day X5, so I didn't even make it to the second day. And I did play pretty poorly as well. But like I said, just opening too many traps in a spell deck just didn't do me anything.
Right. So what about the 3v3? You changed your deck for that?
Yeah, so for the second 3v3, I took out all 6 of the floodgates and just put in 3 Metaverse and 3 Mystic Mine, and ended up I ended up playing a lot better and winning more as a percentage than the main event.
So you think the main version is the one you're going to stick with from now on?
Yeah, it's scummy, but it works. Because, yeah, well, I am scummy as well. But
Mate, you were playing mine as well. Come on.
I was playing main, but it's not a win condition.
Oh.
well,
Real man over here. No man.
I took out main for the 3v3. I didn't. Well, I sided it. I didn't miss it for game 1 because my game 1 strategy is just to go first or break a board, and mine very rarely helps me break through the board unless it's the Mirror or Thunder Dragon, which I didn't face in the 3v3. So I think it was the right call for the 3v3. But the main event, having mine, it definitely helped.
That's fair enough. I mean, I didn't play it. I got mined, I think. Weirdly, I didn't get mined a lot during the actual main tournament, more so in 3v3. And 9 times out of 10 you can play around it. It's awkward, I'll admit that. It's pretty awkward. I had to normal summon a Norcus Nightmare, trigger summon a Norcus Nightmare, crash into something to carry on. I mean, we also drew the twins occasionally, which has been nice. Mine's a good card, but I didn't personally play it just because it was, in my situation, I know that I have control of when I can just like get rid of it or whatever, but it felt like 9 times out of 10 I was just waiting, trying to draw more cards, and I personally just didn't felt that my opponent would probably draw something better first, or find their out, or whatever. So I just preferred going, I'd rather just try to play through rather than having a line, but that was my personal preference, I guess.
The only time I got mine during the main event, I went first. I had the connector, so I saw my opponent's hand, and so I had the 2 mines in hand, which I had to play around it. So I had to redo one, I had to crescendo the other, which just meant I didn't have enough to stop them. I still had the Gearsu and Rusty, and I still think I had 1 Fog Blade, but having to waste the crescendo and the reader just really set me back. So the only thing that really affected me was when they had 2. I can out 1 easily, still have enough resources behind it, but I would have liked to. I'd like to just not let my opponent have 2 mine, really. So that's sort of what we're doing going forward. we've now reached the point of no sooner than for the next ban list. So, what do we think is going to be hit for Orcists?
If they're going really hard and fast here, I pretty much think they're going to hit Mermaid.
Yeah, I don't know if they will hit the Mermaid. I know they've hit it in the OCG, but to me it feels. I think they're going to give most of the decks a slap in the wrist in terms of consistency or power. But I think hitting the Mermaid just really neuters Orcust harsher than what I think will hit the other decks.
I mean, it is true, but I feel like the only outcry would be that Orcus is a very splashable engine now because of the Nightmare package. Like, as you can see from, like, at least from one of the things, we have Dark Lord Orcus, which is very interesting and probably pretty fun. But now it's just, if you can make a Nightmare, you can play the Orcus package, that can be pretty strong. With that being said, if they chose to next slap on the rest, I think you talked about, or you might specifically mentioned about like limiting Galatea.
Yeah, I think if they limit the Galatea, then you'll have to play your resources a lot smarter. I think more gear so will become a lot more important. It means you can't make on the same board. I think that the PK package is probably more. I don't know. I think that's one people are more annoyed about rather than the main Orcus package.
Yeah, but I think if they were to hit the PK package, I would much prefer they actually be talked about before, like hitting stuff like Fogblade rather than Rusty, because while Rusty does give you a lot of advantage, Rusty is only as good as
the things that
searches.
So I think, say limiting Fogblade or Boots, limit what you can get with it. I think that's much more important hit targets.
And to be honest, there's other effects in my traps you can't play that might come up. Like there's still
Wings could be useful, yeah.
You play Second Shade if you need the extender. I mean, there's loads of random ones. One of my favorite ones is Tomb Shield, even though it just some subs to regular, like normal 3 and it's level 3, and it's not like, like Shade where you can actually turn that. But it's like secondary effect where you can banish it, target a continuous trap and negates effectively the end of the turn, can be very useful in certain matchups.
Yeah, I mean, you can stop the floodgating.
So it just, I think, actually hitting Galatea and banning stuff like Fogblade instead would probably give you, like, it would change the way you have to play, but it wouldn't kill, like, your first turn more necessarily.
What do we reckon for Salamanders?
Either Gazelle or Circle. Realistically, it's all we can do.
I think Gazelle's one would be a fair hit. You have a lot of ways to search it, but it's more once you've only got one, you have to sort of protect it.
You rely on the Sunlight Wolf a lot more. Yeah, I think Gazelle one.
I think we also talked about Sunlight Wolf going to possibly like 2.
I think Sunlight to would be. It doesn't kill any of your combos. It's more sort of the longer game where you're having to shuffle Sunlight Wolf back, and I think you just have to play smarter about what you're returning with, say like Jack, where all the Sunlight Wolves on effect. To add back, you might have to add back that other Sunlight Wolf, so that you can reincarnate it.
Plus, I mean, it's the thing of where you don't, I guess we're trying to go for, you don't want to necessarily kill the decks despite like how you may personally feel about it. It's more just, you'll have to change the way you play, even some kind of like faction feel. But yeah, I think those two would be pretty easy, or at least kind of fair to the deck. It still have powerful plays, it's still combos. You just have to like, your resource management will have to be on point.
Yeah. Next up, we'll talk about Thunder Dragon.
This one's a weird one for me because like there's certain like sort of like choke points in theory where if you hit the deck they should be able to stop, but that just doesn't seem to really happen anymore.
Yeah, they managed to play through a lot of disruption. I think personally it's the Wyver Buster and Collapse Serpent. I think if they were to be hit to say one each, it's just a big consistency hit for them. Even things like Colossus to 1, it means you can't just, any Thunder monster doesn't just become an instant level 8 for these plays. Or Levineer to 1, I think that having the one effect, each effect is very powerful itself. Being able to get multiples it's quite impactful.
So Gold Red definitely needs to be somewhere on the list as well.
I think
That should have gone. That should have been put on the list ages ago.
yeah, it should have been put to one long time ago. But right now it's not the problem.
Right now it's not the problem, but then
It still deserves to be on the list.
list,
And
yeah,
I think
like
once our user, I think that's fine. I think that's a reasonable amount. It just means you can't keep cycling through them all.
yeah. So at least from what I think of now, because a lot of Danger Thunder players, at least from what I've seen and I've played for the weekend, they start on it like because initially people would go for the Saryuja dig in and then go for the Guard Dragon play. Where now it's more like go for the Guard Dragon play, see where you're at. If you need the Saryuja or you want to just dig for more resources, then you go into it. And then I feel like Saryuja being at 1, then it sort of gives them you can still start with your Guard Dragon play and then further your play, so that's sort of fair enough. But now it's not, you have to make a choice of like, do I make the Saryuja first, try to dig, see where I'm at. I know this is my only one, do I want to save it for like later? And then, because like, for me, Danger Thunder is a weird one, because they sent their board, but like, when going through their board, about, I'd say on average, 10 to 12 cards of their extra deck are gone, leaving me stuff what I imagine to be like Nightmare Phoenix, maybe a Nightmare Unicorn, and like one other thing. And I feel like they would then have to like sort of choose then. Like Saryuja, I feel something they might be able to make later on to dig and to get themselves back into the game. But now it's just like, I can play up to 3 if I really wanted to, so it's just free extension.
And I think the Guard Dragons are the real issue. So I think it's the issue for both the Thunder deck and the Pendulum deck. So I think the Guard Dragon should be hit. Because I don't think a Guard Pain is a well designed card. When they were first released, nobody really cared. Then people realised it could be abused like it has been in these two decks. I think for both the decks, hitting the Guard Dragons, just ban them. I think they were badly designed cards in the first place.
I mean, I sort of
It makes the Collapse Serpent and the Wyvern Buster less relevant. If they don't have them, then they don't need to.
True. But like and my weird thing is I feel like Agrippay was actually designed fairly well, and like I feel all of them are designed fairly well in terms of the idea of that you need to have the 2 zones to it, and people just found a way to break them. But like if I were to hit one, I'd personally hit LP, because I feel LP is the one that like allows you to go into stuff, because like you can, like, especially for like Pendulum, typically they play a few dragons, but mainly it's going to be the Dark Worm. If the Dark Worm goes to the extra deck, like for like say because of like Pendulum mechanic, if they go into the LP, they can just drag another copy out of the deck to make the Pisty and then go from there. Whereas like I feel LP is the most important one because it digs for like the red MD and for like Crusader Guard Dragon. It can dig for any other random dragon combo, like Brotor, discard to get the like
Whatever you want.
Whatever Dark Dragon you want. I feel like Pisty, you have to have the resources there available. And Agrippay, while it does somehow any dragon creation for free, I feel like that you have to work for it a bit more if LP wasn't there. But I mean, I do understand that the Guard Dragons are also been splashing quite a few things. But I think LP would be a more like, I feel LP would be a prime hit for it. See what happens, and if they were still broken, just go for the all 3.
I think if they were to hit any, it would be Agrippay, and it goes back to the same thing of, the card's only as broken as what it summons. It's the same with Rusty. So Agrippay, you get so many things you can summon with that are just an absolute blowout. Like Vortex or Abyss are just massive cards on the field.
Or even just summoning a Boral Sword for an OTK.
Yeah, exactly. So LP doesn't really summon anything that powerful on its own. If you got rid of the Agrippay, then all they're really doing is getting more resources that, I don't know, they can make another Saryuja. But Agrippay really the issue for me. I think if it summoned a Guard Dragon card, that's fine, because none of them are that powerful. It's just, I think being able to summon any dragon from your extra deck is just ridiculous.
Yeah, get your point.
Alright, Striker.
I mean, it has to be multi-roll.
Yeah, I think multi-roll should be hit. I think now that Gary's gone, multi-role is your main recursion.
Yeah.
So,
And people say Engage is the best card just because it's +1, but Engage is only as good as what it searches. And the searching the multi-role just so you can get your engages back for next turn, just because the setting the one engage you played in your first turn, searching another one which is Zook and you've got 2 engage in the next turn, like that's all multi-roll's fault. Like if you lose access to that one multi-roll, then you don't get access to the 2 engage in the next turn.
do you think ban?
So no, if you ban the multi-roll, then you just can't play the deck. So
I reckon 1 because like that way, like you can if it gets like in any way affected, it's apart from being let's say banished. I guess like if you get in the grave, you can try to get it back. You have your Kagari, you might have to pay for the space kind of thing. But then you'd have to play smart in terms of like I need to recycle things, so I need to get that back, or I need to get a way to get it back, or all that kind of
Well,
thing.
you'd have to like hold Call by the Graves in hand for like ghost overs and stuff. So then, if you set the call by, and then you get ghost over in the end phase, and so you set the call by, so you have to maybe leave the call by in hand in case you have the ghost over, and then you don't have the call by in their turn.
I think that's probably all striker needs at the moment. With Kagari to 1, I think the deck's pretty vulnerable to the ban list. So I think more so to 1. I think I would. Do you think people would start playing more Hercules based, the arms and recycler stuff more in other ways?
Potentially, but probably not, because the worst thing is opening your Hercules base. And if you play 2 and then you open 2, it's just even worse. And you open 2 Hercules base, you've got like no cards to play with. So I think people will just keep it at 1. You never resolve it once anyway.
Then people may try things like, I think you were trying things like link bound or magnet, people trying magnet reverse, try to get the Kagari back to then get, like, say, that back from grave.
Yeah, personally, if people are going to do that, I think link bound would be a definitely better card, because obviously now with the 1 Kagari and Salamander being really big, you tend to use raise effects to summon Kagari a lot, so your opponent just can't summon the Kagari back. And if you've got Magnet Reverse, then you just can't summon that Kagari because it's not been properly summoned. So you play the Link Bound, just put it back into the extra deck, you can summon it freely.
Any other decks we think?
So depending on these being like sort of like slap on the wrists, it might still be possible for other decks to creep up. So things like Altergeist for me and Trickstar, while they've been like. So Altergeist has been in and out of popularity. It's been shown at some events, sometimes like doing really well, sometimes like bubbling out, sometimes just not even making the top tables. But it's the things for me with like things like Altergeist and Trickstar, they've not been hit since they came out, and I feel that could potentially be an issue going forward.
I think Altergeist is a fairly easy one. It just needs a consistency out. I think we talked about this, where if you put Melseek and multi-figures too, then it's just that little bit of a consistency hit. They don't need as big a hit as the other decks because they're not performing quite as well, but I think I would just bring them down to all an even level.
Yeah.
Don't think there's anything else for all space really needs to be hit. Trickstars.
Candida to 2, possibly, maybe Reincarnations to 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Trickstars just. I've not seen it doing much.
No, but it's. The turns are only as good as if you open Candina. So if you got less copies of Candina, then the light stage needs to get the Candina. Whereas if you have the 3 Candina, you're more likely to open the Candina. So the light stage can search like the Lycris or the Carabane. But if you happen to search a Candina, then the Candina's yeah.
I'd be alright with Candina to 2 and Reincarnation to 2 because I feel, again, having 1 less copy of Reincarnation then makes you actively choose what you have to do with it, kind of thing.
I think Reincarnation is probably the problem card for Trickstars, especially along with Joel. I know last year Euros, Trickstar was a lot bigger, and I got reincarnation rolled a couple of times. It just ends the game for you pretty much.
Well, I mean, with the reincarnation roll, if they've not got much else, then it's still. And if you play in a deck that can sort of top at one card and you can get back into it, then the reincarnation roll isn't an auto lose. But certainly last year when Scapegoat was at 3 last year, if they had the reincarnation roll and a Scapegoat, then you just lose straight away. But if they just had just a Candina, then you still got possibly a couple turns to draw that one card that gets you back in.
I think it's more just. I think it's just weird for me more just in terms of I just feel they should get hit because they've just not been touched whatsoever. And like Goki, like for the example, Goki didn't get hit, but that's because like
everything around it
got hit. Like Goki, in principle, is like an alright deck. It's not really overpowered in sense. It's just the extra deck monsters that were available at the time were just insane.
Now Goblin Firewall, Sun and Sorrow, we're all gone. Deck's doing nothing.
Because the Goki extra monsters are shit.
Yeah. I mean, Trickstar and Altergeist, they don't rely on the extra deck. You can't really hit the extra deck. They'll use even generic extra deck.
I mean, there's the occasional nightmare in Trickstar because sometimes a Floodgate or a big special monster have them to out. But
yeah, I mean, they're not going to hit the Nightmare package for the sake of Trickstar. I don't think the Nightmares deserve to be hit. I think they're fairly well designed cards.
other than Goblin.
Yeah, that's gone anyway. Was there any other cards in general that you think deserve to be hit?
Generally, no. I mean, well, sorry. I guess in Draco, I feel they need a bit more of like.
Oh, Draco.
Yeah. It's I know because the problem is Draco's been out for a while now, and it's not been like. It just has its phases of being very prevalent, and I know that's partly down to like the floodgates available and everything, but like. I feel you need to limit Draco's either ability to recur their stuff or to draw more cards, and like there's just one or the other at this point.
My view is semi-limit Disciples and Heritage. It just puts a little bit more danger of banishing your stuff off of things like Desires. I think they'd be less willing to play Desires straight off before they get them out of deck. Because if you lose all your Disciples, or if you banish 2 Disciples, not having the Disciples to recycle the first one, it puts a lot of pressure on Draco to end the game quicker because they lose that recursion. Heritage is just a really strong draw spell. I think putting that to 2 is not a huge hit. I think it's enough of a hit. Just stops them quite having that access. Again, I think it's just stopping. We'll have to play a bit smarter then. Yeah. Is there anything else with Draco? To me, the things around Draco, Demise and these kinds of things are fine because it limits the deck to what they can do, and it doesn't bother Draco. But I don't think Draco's doing enough at the moment to really warrant hitting that much. It's only if everything else gets hit, it should be hit. Any generic cards? I think of anything that gets put in side decks a lot, or main deck techs. I don't think there's anything.
I mean, there is mine, but it depends on how like the OCG didn't hit mine, and it's one of the things where.
I think mine went to 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it went to 2, I suppose. That's fair.
I don't see mine to 2 as really doing anything. To me, it should be banned.
Yeah, it's such a boss card.
I think it's just really badly designed. I don't think it should have ever been a card. I think it will just get banned and it will be lost to the history pages of Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's just a more fucked version of Chicken Game, and Chicken Game's already on the ban list.
Yeah. I think mine will just straight up get banned. It should anyway. I think a lot of people would be happier about it.
Yeah, I mean, it should, but with it being still a relatively new card, that's the only sort of reason that I think that they might not ban it. I don't really think anything of Dane would get put on the list.
just depends really, because they have to sell new sets and they have to make sure because I think the issues now is I feel they have to do either it can't be slaps on the wrist. I feel they have to go full in, because I mean looking at the next coming sets, so Rising Rampage and Chaos Impact, there really aren't anything that seems like they're going to be too powerful out the gate. So it's
there's decks I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Battle Wasps, which is next week.
that's
I'm looking forward to Tenyi Hikai. I think these will all be interesting.
They'll be interesting, but
They're not going to be meta.
they're not going to be powerhouses, at least at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna.
If someone wants to break these decks, please let us know. I'd love to have a meta version of Hikai.
I think in order for them to sell this, they'll have to really. I mean, it may not be this coming ban list; it might be the next one, but they really will have to take the power levels down.
If they go too hard in this ban list, then there's not going to be anything to play, because, like you said, the next two sets aren't very good.
Well, we're at the end of the season. The year is over. World's gone, but this is on one ban list. We're not with regionals until September, so
the LLDS is before that.
yeah, the LLDS. But to me, this is probably the time to try out hitting things and see how they get on in things like the LLDS. Well, it's not affecting the regional season.
I guess.
I don't know. There's not really anything coming out that I think will be meta. So I think they really need to sort out the current meta. Anything else for us to talk about? Guys?
Yeah, pretty much it, really.
Alright, thank you for watching us waffling on for however long that was. I think that was quite a while actually.
Yeah.
But please like and subscribe, comment below. Have anything you want to discuss with us, or if there's any requests you have for deck profiles or any more discussions for us to have. Cheers, thank you.
Shh, not a zombie channel.